Hey guys, Snupy here. So today's been a great day for changes for WoW, in my opinion. The shuffle changes, we're going to punish the levers way harder. But this video is going to focus on the Feral Druid changes, which, spoiler, I think are really good. So right now I'm just going to quickly go over each point that is changing, and we're just going to kind of look at it, and I'll give you my 2 cents on what I think of them. And yeah, let's dive right into it. So I'm just going to log into my Druid so I can kind of compare to how it used to be to how it's going to be now. Because we still don't have it out on the calculator, so we can actually make the build. But we can see here how it's gonna be like. So just starting off, there's a few minor things, but tear open wounds moved directly below Permwrath with a connector to pouncing strikes. So tear open wounds will be moved from here to below Permwrath, connecting. Okay, let me shot a meld. Connecting with pouncing strikes. So I guess right here, directly below. So between those two is what I think. So that's nice. So Lunar Inspiration, here's a big thing we're going to get to again. One of my biggest issues with how it was going to be in 10.0.5 was that Lunar was going on a choice node. Excuse me. With Feral Frenzy. And that is no longer happening, which I'm very happy about. Because that was honestly a bit of a killer for me, because it's a prune. You have 2 fun buttons, and now I can only have 1, right? So I'm very happy they're not going through with that. So that's awesome. But yeah, so Lunar has been moved. Tear open wounds actually got buffed from 60 to 70, which I'm quite surprised about because it's kind of pumping. But yeah, tear open wounds increased damage. It's not gonna be a crazy amount, because the main damage is actually the rip ticks, but it's nice, a bit more instant damage when you reapply it. That's great. We're not going to complain about that. And coming up now are two changes that I think are really good and quite underrated as well. And that is Taste for Blood is now a single point node that increases bite damage by 5% per bleed on the target. So this, of course, was a 2-point node. It got buffed to 4 per bleed if you have 2 now. But now it's going to be 5, it seems, per bleed with a 1-point node. So that is really good. That is really good. And one thing that I found quite clunky in this tree in general, the Feral tree right here, is that these 2 things on the side, even though they're pretty good, you kind of want to skip them because they cost so many points that you want to spend further down in the tree right here. But now that they become 1-point nodes, that is huge. That's going to make the build feel way more fluent, and that you actually have options and way more build options, which is great. So I'm a huge fan of that change, and yeah, it's really good. And with Sudden Ambush, they're doing something similar. So Sudden Ambush was also 2-point node. It used to be 3-point node, by the way. In the first iteration, both of those were 3-point nodes. But now they've gone from 3-point to 2-point to 1-point, which I think is pretty much where you want to be with those. So yeah, Sudden Ambush as well. Now single node, 6% chance per combo spent to cause your next shred or rake to deal damage as though stealthed. So currently, if you have 2 into it, it increases it. Let's see here. I think it's by I'm actually not sure, because they had changes that were happening for next patch, but now those changes have been changed again. Be in the game right now is 10% when you have 2, so 6% for 1. I think that's fair. And I think it's going to be a pretty good option, because rakes with Sudden Ambush do a lot of damage. So definitely might want to squeeze it into certain builds. So as I said, right, Lunar is no longer a choice node with Frenzy. The biggest thing, in my opinion, the best thing about this. And they have adjusted the damage on it, which is big. And the adjustment is a big buff. So we're pretty happy with that. So Lunar is not getting buffed by a pretty big amount. And we can have Lunar and Frenzy as we can right now. But I'm very happy they did not go through with the Frenzy Lunar choice node, which I made videos about, feedback on it, and it's very good that they're not doing that. But yeah, not only are we going to get it, but it's going to be doing more damage. So for the placement on it, I'm not exactly quite sure how it's going to be, because it said below and left of Sudden Ambush, right? Oh, I guess right here, actually. Okay. So I guess below and left of Sudden Ambush. Right there. it seems. So going from like the first 8 points spent to the second, which is interesting. So we're gonna see how the builds will be exactly, but that's good. That's good. Next up, Relentless Predator. Reduce the energy cost of by 40%, up from 20. So that is this right here. So bites with this will be way cheaper. And this also like decreases the amount that bite consumes for extra damage, which means you can get full bites way easier. So that's also gonna be interesting, man. Like a lot of these things are gonna, these changes will kind of open up a lot new options for us, which is awesome. It's gonna be quite fun. So by the way, guys, I will make a full new guide when this is actually out, because the tree's changing, build's changing, rotation's probably changing a bit too. So I'll make a full new guide for that, which will be out when this is out. Next up, Rip and Tear damage increased to 15%, was 12. So Rip and Tear didn't really do much damage. It was pretty good in BGs, but now it's going to do a bit more damage. And one thing is, like, they are nerfing Circle. You can see that further up here. Circle's becoming, let's see if we can find it here real quick. Circle of Life and Death. Right here. From 25 to 20, which in my opinion is kind of good for us, because when you played Tear and Circle, there's, like, no time really to, like, do stuff, because bleeds just fall off so fast. So, honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. And maybe, like, a Tear Circle build now, like, might be a bit more viable, which is good. So, yeah. That is that buff might be a bit more played, even though I think Vein Ripper will still have the edge in it in most situations. So Infected Wounds, they were going to nerf it to 25% on rake damage from 30 to 25, but now they have reverted those changes back to 30. So we're not going to complain about that either. You know, it's good, and it's going to be good, so that's good. And next up, Vein Ripper bonus reverted to 10.0.2. Sorry, values again, 2. So that one also, let's go back up here again. So that was these changes that are to be found right here. So Vein Ripper was also getting kind of like buffed in a way. It was going to make bleeds last longer. Now it's also been reverted to what it is. So it seems like they kind of had a plan for how they wanted things to be, but they got feedback and they re-evaluated the plan, and I think came out with something that's way better than what was going to happen. So, dude, I think Blizzard are kind of on point with this. Also, great changes to Shuffle coming, and I think the future is bright for Feral Gaming. I cannot wait to make these builds. I cannot wait to make the guide for the build. And, yeah, hopefully try to show the way to all the Ferals out there. And, yeah, guys. That's pretty much it, though, for these changes. Quick video kind of going over the things one by one. And if you have any questions, you can ask me on my stream, my Discord. It's linked below. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.